this video, we'll talk about the fundamental quantities. Means that the measurement, as we've already discussed in the past video, assigning numbers to an observational event. So in this video, we'll talk about the fundamental quantities. A quantities, we have to know that a quantity is the amount, size, or extent of a material, object, or event expressed in numbers. So as we've seen that measuring occurs to a desirable quantitative object. So the quantity is the amount and the size and the extent of material expressed in number. Example mass expressed in maybe 12 kilograms, speed, force, energy. So the quantity has two main parts, a number and a unit. So there is a number that shows the size and the value, and there is a unit that shows specifically what this what is it expressing. Example, a mass of 12 kg. This means that the value of that object is 12, but kg is 10, that is measuring the mass. So that's what it is. A unit is the standard which is used to explain measurement of a body. So a unit is very important as it expresses the measurement of a body. Example, kilogram, meter, second, etc. A quantity can be a fundamental or derived. So there are two basic quantities, a fundamental quantity and a derived quantity. Now, a fundamental quantity is the quantity which can't be explained in the form of other quantities. So a quantity that can be expressed in other form of quantities, or it cannot be derived from other quantities, that is a fundamental quantity. So there are 7 fundamental quantities, namely mass, length, time, temperature, electric current, amount of substance, and luminous intensity. The main 3 basic ones that I've bolded, these are the main 3 basic fundamental quantities, which are mass, length, and time. Their units, example, mass in kilogram, length, meter, time, seconds, temperature in degrees Kelvin, electric current is in ampere, and the amount of substance, that is in a mole, and the luminous intensity, that is caldera. So these are the 7 fundamental quantities. Now the derived quantities, these are the physical quantities which are derived from the fundamental quantities. So the derived quantities exist as are derived from the basic fundamental quantities, such as volume, density, power, work, energy, weight, and the frequency. All these are derived from the fundamental quantities. This means that are obtained as the multiplying or dividing of the fundamental quantities. So the SI units of derived quantities can be obtained by either multiplying or dividing the units of respective fundamental quantities. However, the sum of the derived quantities have SI units with these special names. Example, Pascal for pressure, volt for potential difference, and joule for energy, Newton for force, and so on. So the units which we observe from the derived quantities are like that. So for example, speed is the derived quantity obtained by dividing distance to time. So the SI unit we obtain is meter per second. So that's how we obtain the units of the derived quantities. I hope it's clear. So that's all about the derived quantities. So in this video, we've talked about the fundamental quantities, the meaning of quantity, what's a unit, the types of fundamental quantities. I will explain the various, the 7 fundamental quantities and their SI units, and I hope you can give example to mass, length, time, and temperature. Then I've discussed also about the derived quantities, which are the physical quantities that are derived from the fundamental quantities. Example, volume. Volume is unit is meter cubic. Density. Density, we obtain density by dividing mass over mass in the volume. So it's gram per centimeter cubic or kilogram per meter cubic. Work is That's energy, all these weight and frequency, all these are the derived quantities. So thank you for listening. I hope it's briefly clear. I've discussed this in brief. So thank you.